Here's a question for you. When you think of a bottle of Coca-Cola, do you think of this or do you think of this? Hi, I'm Annie Leonard, and I've spent decades researching something called greenwashing. Greenwashing is the name for when companies try to make a product look more sustainable than it actually is. Often that's done through advertising. As one of the world's most ubiquitous brands, Coke is also one of the world's biggest advertisers. It spends $4 billion on advertising every year. That's 50 cents for every person on the planet. We recently asked our community members around the world to send us pictures of Coke ads that they saw around them. And you guessed it, these ads overwhelmingly showed their soda in glass bottles. In fact, as we analyzed all the images, we saw that Coke uses glass bottles in its ads 5 times more frequently than it does in its actual packaging. Coincidence? I don't think so. A company spending the kind of money that Coke does on advertising and on cultivating its images leaves nothing to chance. We're talking about a company that produces 1 in 5 of the world's plastic bottles and has been named the planet's biggest plastic polluting brand for the last 6 years running. So why might Coke want to show its product in glass bottles? First, there's nostalgia. Displaying a vintage glass bottle doesn't just avoid the appearance of plastic, it allows Coke to hark back to a time before widespread plastic pollution even existed. Second, it allows Coke to distance itself from plastic. Let's face it, people are sick of all the plastic trash polluting our oceans, our parks, our communities. Coke knows that and would like to pretend it has nothing to do with that mess. And third, Coke greenwashes its plastic problem to avoid regulation. This is really important. Coke's use of the glass bottle in its ad is a strategic fiction meant to assure the public and policymakers that there's no plastic problem that needs fixing. No need for governments to get involved and enforce higher environmental standards. But glass bottles should be used in real life, not just in ads. This very bottle was designed to be returned, washed, and refilled dozens of times. In fact, refill is still commonplace in many parts of the world. But refillable glass bottles like this are virtually non-existent in the US, the world's biggest consumer market. In 2022, Coke promised to put 25% of its product in refillables worldwide by 2030. But recent reporting showed Coke's use of plastic packaging is actually increasing, while the share of refillables is decreasing. And tellingly, Coke made no promise to bring refill back to the United States. It's clear we can't take Coke at its word. That's why we need to pass policies that reduce the use of plastic packaging by requiring more refillable bottles. New laws are being proposed in multiple states that would ensure companies like Coke put more of its product in refillable glass. Bottle bills, or deposit return systems, provide the infrastructure to take the bottles back, wash them, and then the companies refill the bottles and send them back to the store. How do we know it works? Because Coke successfully does it in countries around the world. In fact, before it transitioned to single-use packaging, Coca-Cola bottlers in the US were getting 96% of their empty bottles back to refill. 96%! Now that is virtually every bottle back. Switching to refillables would take a huge chunk out of the plastic pollution problem and slow down the climate crisis in the process. It would reduce waste, save energy, create jobs. It's a win-win-win. So let's pass those refill laws and hold Coke and all the other beverage makers to account. It's time to bring back refill.